Hey guys, stay tuned. Jason and I are going to talk about watches to add to your collection in 2019. Hello and welcome to another episode, a very special episode of The Trading Desk. My name is Joshua Thanos, and this is my buddy, Jason Main. What's up, bud?
Glad to have you back, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you as well, man. I unfortunately, I'm not as pretty as your last co-host. Great show, by the way.
Thanks.
Anybody who watched it last week, Elena Lackman, who's a longtime employee of Watchbox and Watch in Govberg, was on the show, and it was very enjoyable. I watched it from the beach in Florida.
Turned into a pretty genuine conversation, so it was easy. It was fun.
Yeah, you were being nice to her. That was nice.
Convince her to come on more often for you guys.
Don't worry, I'm giving her some pep talks. Right. I think she did a great job, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. So let's start with what we always start with: wrist shots. Jason,
you going first, or am I going first?
No. You got a shiny new watch. Well, we both have new watches, but you have a special watch that you really, really like, and you think you did a good job purchasing. So
yeah.
What is that, Jason?
This is the Bulgari No Finesse Mo in titanium, limited edition of 200 pieces in the blue. So I don't know if you can make the blue out there. We have these brand new lights in the studio. They're quite bright. So I've obviously the thinnest automatic right before the Piaget came out and took that title. But probably the thinnest automatic that is durable enough to be worn every day, I would say. I've worn this about 2 weeks now, and I've really, really fallen in love with it. It's a great piece, and if we can afford the opportunity, I'm just going to...
You've been wanting that watch for a while, so that's great. So this is a watch that compares to a Piaget?
So there you go. You got all hand-finished, in-house, micro-rotor automatic, and you notice how wide the movement is. It's basically to make up for how thin it is, and a little bit of platinum there on the rotor.
Ooh,
platinum rotor. Where's your watch at with the platinum rotor?
I don't have one of those.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have any Bulgari watches, Jason.
Look how amazing that
is. Or Piaget for that matter.
There you go. There's a shot with the blue.
Yeah, it's nice. The watch is pretty.
It's very, very comfortable. If you like,
can I see it?
Engineering in any way, I would say you owe it to yourself to try one on. Because it's definitely a feat of engineering.
Yeah, Jason's definitely pushing this watch hard.
I may have sold more Octo Finissimos than anybody in the country. I should probably get a check from Bulgari.
Yeah? Well, you're wearing one, so here you go. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice. It is very thin. Not my cup of tea, but I think it is cool. I know
3 weeks from now, Josh owns an Octo Finissimo.
Well, maybe. I am very very impulsive when it comes to watch purchasing. But, I mean, it's nice. It looks nice. I like a thin watch. I don't know. This watch, when I look at it, does not speak to me in the manner that it speaks to you, Jason. But that's fine, because
to me, it's like very.
This is like your grail.
It's like very tech, kind of like Tony Stark-ish is how I see it. It's like a very tech inspired.
So you feel like Iron Man when you wear this?
Exactly. I'm trying to figure out where you press to have the Iron Man suit come out of it.
You don't. It's a Bulgari, Jason. You don't do that.
Well, way to kill my dreams.
No, it's not. It's a cool watch. I know it's one that you've wanted. You don't. I mean, well, on camera with me, you definitely don't show a lot of enthusiasm or excitement about watches. But I know that this is something that you've been excited about for a long time. So I'm happy that you got it, man. I know that you traded in your Panerai, so you're no longer a Panerai owner.
Yeah, for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
plenty of Panerais out there.
Speaking of that, so my wrist check is, let's see if we can get a close up here with our new cameraman. All right, nice. So this is a Panerai 560. It's an 8-day movement. So if you guys know my collection, I have a PAM 002, which has patina, or water damage, however you want to call it. And that watch has like a 2.5-day power reserve. It's also beat to hell, so I like the aesthetic of the watch, but I wanted something I could wear every day. And this came along, so I went and picked it up. It's a sandwich style, 8-day movement. It actually has about a 9-day power reserve, but it's essentially a chronometer for 8 days, which is nice. So I get to wind this once a week. I put it on a strap that's really not even supposed to fit the watch, but I love it on here. It's it's like an army green accordion rubber strap, and it's for a 47 millimeter, but you can squeeze it in the lugs there. So the great thing about Panerai is that there's no shortage of straps, so I can put this on really any strap. So I have my 002s on a leather strap, so I'll wear that for kind of special occasions. and just give that a bit of a rest.
So it's basically my 510 without a second hand.
It's literally the same. Yeah, it's a 510 with no.
And you stole my color green and put it on there.
I
So
don't think I stole anything from you, Jason.
Maybe it's
I doubt you own the color green, but I know that is your favorite. Look, you're wearing it today. Nice.
There we go.
Got the green shoes too. But all right, that was wrist checks, guys. We have 2 new watches for in our collections. Jason with a Bulgari and me with a Panerai.
The Bulgari, I think, is safe to say.
Yeah, I don't think there's any of the Bulgaris you'd want to buy.
Except maybe this in ceramic eventually. I got to see that. I haven't seen one yet.
Well, that's tough. The problem with ceramic is that it's very delicate in terms of, like, if you knock it at all, you can crack it. Whereas this titanium, you can have this. Though this one's sandblasted, right? Yours is sandblasted?
Yeah.
Which is cool. I love the aesthetic. I'll tell you this. Like, I might make jokes or make fun of you, but that is actually a really, really nice watch. And I think that's the first time I've seen you kind of do something that wasn't totally sensible in terms of a watch purchase. So I'm proud of you. You went off. You pulled a Thanos.
Yeah,
you pulled a Thanos. That's cool, man. I appreciate it.
It's not a parallel.
Now, I do have a Panerai. That is true. Though
right.
I don't think I paid much of anything for that watch. So,
cool, man.
Cool. All right. So what's up next, Jason?
We got top 5.
Oh yeah, that's right. Top 5
all of the clicked watches.
Oh, nice.
What are they?
Oh wow, we got a nice lineup. These are all watches that could all be in the same collection here. So, the number 5 most clicked watch this week is a yellow gold Yachtmaster. Dude, what do you feel about that watch? How do you feel about that?
Yachtmaster Deuce.
Yeah, Yachtmaster 2, 44 millimeters. It's the yachting timer chronograph.
It's a cool watch. It's not my style watch. It's very. You don't have to own a yacht, but you got to be a special kind of person. I mean, it's very, I would say, out there. You know, little mafioso. It's a big watch. Right, the blue is obviously the stark contrast on the blue is what that watch is known for. But the yachting timer is a little kind of a nonsensical feature in my opinion. If I was going to go with something complicated like that, I like the Sky Dweller better. Yeah. In terms of getting something that's not a base movement. But I mean, look at that. It's solid gold. It's obviously it's a pretty hot watch. Yeah, it's definitely an FU watch.
It's a watch I can wear in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, not my type of Rolex, but I could definitely see why it would get a lot of attention.
Thing is, it fits you. It'll probably fit you better than me because it is large. But that's a great watch.
Not better than number 4. Number 4 fits my wrist.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then, and by the way, this is the new hands. It looks like too. Yeah. So that's a $37,000 watch. The number 5 most clicked on watch of the week. Number 4 is a ridiculous badass watch with the $44,000 retail.
Going for double.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got the Royal Oak Open Works. This thing's absolutely fantastic. I put it on my wrist. Right? Yeah, I put it on my wrist, take a photo the other day for somebody, and I think I killed like 10 minutes trying to get like macro shots from my phone that just wouldn't quite focus on everything that's going on in there. The thing looks like a freaking pinball machine. It's awesome.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. There's not a lot of skeleton movements that I like personally. The open work, the double balance open work, especially in the stainless, is ridiculous because it actually has like an element of two-tone to it, right? Because it has the gold balance there. So it's, I don't know. I love that watch. I think clearly everyone loves the watch too. The demand is so far out of control that's literally going for double the retail. You cannot get this. It doesn't matter who you are, right? If you're a first-time boutique customer of AP, you're not getting this watch.
Well, no, I mean, so it's available on our website. You mean at retail?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying a boutique customer of AP. So if you want to buy this watch brand new and not have to go pay market price for it, it's just, I mean, you would have to spend probably over $100,000 with AP in order to even get a whiff of that, and probably more than that, honestly. But yeah, that watch is out of control. That has probably been one of their strongest watches for a long time. So now AP is really strong. All the 15400s, the 15500s are all going at or above retail. But this watch has been super strong for a long time. They had the 39 millimeter version of the watch is really nice too. But when the movement on the double balance is unbelievable.
So the nice thing, the double balance, and then two with the larger case size, you get a little bit more to look at too in the exhibition.
It's a little big for my wrist, but it would definitely be. I would make the compromise to wear the watch.
I was going to say you adjust to that watch. That watch doesn't adjust to you.
I've sold one of these not too long ago to an NBA player, and he wears it every time I see a picture of him taking. He's wearing that watch because I know he loves it. So
that's awesome.
All right, what's the next one?
Super same price point as the first two. So that's the Oyster Date. That's a watch that, 34 millimeter watch with a smaller price tag. Where are you gonna
$2,500
$2,500 Rolex steel? I mean, it's got to be why it's being clicked on. And we're actually seeing a big trend of like how OP39s are starting to pick up because it's what's available. I mean, people are like, you know what? It's a wearable size. It's available in the case more or less. Except for maybe the white dials, those are pretty hard to track down right now.
Yeah, you're right.
But Oyster perpetual date, 34 millimeter. Anybody that's like a smaller guy looking for a mid-size or even a woman's watch, that's a great pickup for $2,500.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it's a good starter piece, or it's good, gift watch for a woman. It's a vintage piece too, so it's nice. The next one is a watch that I would absolutely own and might be part of our topic a little later on. So the Rolex Date 840, this is black dial, yellow gold with yellow gold markers. The watch is unbelievable. I believe it's a $34,000 retail, so it sells market price just below that. We have it listed for $30,000, $29,950. Second most clicked watch of the week. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
I like it a lot. I mean, it's definitely more something that I would wear more than number 5, the Yachtmaster.
Yeah.
I think it has a much better opportunity, like a better chance of staying in a collection because it's such a staple type of piece. I don't know that I'd go yellow. I really, really like the white gold version with the green dial.
Sure.
For me. But that watch is pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, the Date 840s fit so well. Like when they went from the 41 to the 40s, I think that was a huge difference, and I think it was a great upgrade. For the going from like say the Date 8 or the Date Just 2s to the Date Just 40s. Or Date Just 41s, they changed proportions and they are nicer, but there's not as much of a stark difference as you got from going from a Date 82 to a Date 840.
Yeah, for me, I mean, so you're right in that, and I would argue that it's almost not worth buying a Date Just 41 and an Oyster because you're just getting the Jubilee.
Sure.
So it makes sense if you don't own one yet and you're going to buy one, and you want the Date Just 41 to get the Jubilee instead of the Oyster because now that's what makes that watch special. But the same thing here, and I think it actually going down to a 40 made all the difference. It made the watch a little bit classier.
Sure. The bezel's not as chunky. The case is not as thick. It's beautiful. All right. And the number one most clicked on watch this week is not a Rolex, or an AP, or a Patek. It is an Omega. It's nice. It's actually an Omega that I think you and I would each own, right? You've never talked to me about your thoughts on the dark side of the moon. What are your thoughts?
I have. I've got a weird thing with Speedmasters that sometimes I catch shit for, but it's ceramic.
Sure.
It's nice. I mean, personally, if I'm going to own an Omega Speedmaster, I want the most basic. I want a Hesalite, or I guess even a Sapphire Sandwich, but I want a 005. I want to own it for as cheap as possible. I want to resell it for as cheap, as little of a loss as possible.
Well, part of that, though, I know you've said is because it doesn't have a date, which you get with the dark side. I mean, so in terms of market price for a dark side, it's what a 12-1 retail. You can pick them up for. We have it listed for $79.50. You can get them for right around mid sevens or so is what you can pick up the watch for. So I believe that there's tremendous value in that. You get a full ceramic case with what is it, the 8500 caliber, I think is what it is. When you have a large exhibition case spec, the movement's actually very pretty on that watch. You get an amazing box set. It's a great.
I think that's the 8800 caliber.
So 8800. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not technical.
Not to
call Tim. But I like that watch a lot. I think when it first came out, they had an opportunity to make that watch I feel
hot
as the sun.
Yeah, I feel like there's just so many of them.
Now
if they would have just done one or two, it kind of lost its luster for me. Plus, I'm not a big fan of the big double automatic chronograph. I like the manual movement. And I don't know what it is with Speedmasters, but I've owned a few and they just don't stick around. They just, as much as I want to fall in love with it, it just doesn't quite get there.
Sure.
So
I can understand that.
It's a cool piece. I could definitely see somebody falling in love with it. I do kind of like the hue on the gray side a little bit more than the dark side. But
yeah, I agree with you. I think that if I had to pick one, if you told me I got to buy one side of the moon, it's going to be the gray side. But they have the vintage black, they have the all black.
Yeah,
there's all sorts of, and then
white side,
the Sedna, whatever. Yeah, there's all sorts of ones. Yeah, George Mayer has got the white side of the moon, which is a questionable purchase in my opinion.
Funky strap. He's got an Oreo thing going on there.
Yeah,
with the...
But I mean, who are you to question? You're buying Bulgaris.
Yeah.
Hey. All right, guys. So that was top 5. Very interesting. Looks like mainstream is still running strong. You have Rolex's stainless steel gold, and you have AP, of course, and then Omega, which has always been strong, just not at the price points are not going to be near retail, but there's always going to be a lot of buyers for Omegas. All right, cool. So let's get into the meat of the show, and let's start off by making a big announcement, guys. So listen up here closely. How do I put this, Jason? So this will be my last show as an agent or an employee of Watchbox and Godberg, guys. If you haven't noticed, I've been traveling back and forth between Florida and Philly a lot, and it's gotten a little rough, so I ended up having to take a position in full-time in Florida, and now I get to be on the other side of this, not a dealer, but a collector of watches. And that's kind of what the show is going to be about today, is what watches we want to add to our collections this year. And I've been putting a lot of thought into this. I know Jason's known that this has been coming for a little while, and I feel a little emotional now saying it out loud, dude. I mean, I've had a few weeks to kind of get used to this. But.
Yeah, a little bit of insight. Obviously, we've been queuing this up for a little while. The transition is not something you do overnight, right?
Yeah.
So the last show that you and I did together, we knew at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Decided it wasn't the right time to say anything. Obviously, when you were figuring out what you went home, arranged all the stuff. Was last week, and then I had Elena on because you weren't here.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if I cast a vote for who your new co-host is going to be full time, it's Elena. That show was, for me, better than any show that we've done before. I always like doing the show with you, and people like to talk trash and say that we don't get along. You guys don't have any idea between the relationship that Jason and I have, bro. But besides that, like on camera, the chemistry was fantastic.
No, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was easy in terms of conversation, and similar to when I had Manjos on the show. Like it just felt like a very natural.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I said, I may have spoken to you more per day in the last week than I did when you worked with us.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's anyhow. So moving forward, it's going to be obviously version 2.0 or whatever you want to call it. It's definitely going to be different. It's probably not going to feel right for a little bit, but
I disagree, man. I think it's going to be really good from the beginning, honestly.
We are going to have a special guest appearance by Josh, I think, every once in a while.
If I make my way up to Philly, as long as the weather's good, my trip up to Philly this time was not great.
When you're coming up to buy watches, maybe we'll have you on as a collector's perspective.
Right. And by the way, like I see some, I don't know if we're joking or not, but in the chat box they're asking if I was fired. I doubt they would let me on the show if I was fired. This was a decision made by me, and it's, luckily the company treated me very well for the last 6 years that I've worked for them, and I, nothing but love. This was a hard decision to make, and but everybody was more than kind and great to me. So I'm very grateful that, number one, that you guys let me come back on the show and kind of have this discussion. But I'm going from being an agent of the company to a friend of the company. So I'm still a collector. I'll be engaging through Instagram and possibly by YouTube and whatnot with the community. But all right, guys. So that was that. Let's talk about
it's done. It's over.
What watches. So it doesn't matter what my new job is going to be. All it matters is that I'm going to be making some money. And I should have enough money to kind of buy some of the watches that I want to add to my collection in the next year. So that's what this is about, Jason. So let's talk about the watches we want to add to our collection. So first of all, you've already hit your grail, so you're done buying watches.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my grail. I will say though, it's a little. I was also having this conversation with a good friend of both of ours yesterday, and it's a little surreal to think of what the retail cost is, and it's obviously the highest retail cost that I own.
Yeah.
In terms of
what's the retail on it?
$13,900 I think it is.
I got you beat on my end with my Omega.
So, but it's I had this really trippy thing when I got the sub, and that was like, oh man, it's a $6,000 watch, and then you get really used to that real fast. And then I got the Explorer, and it's like, wow, it's crazy. I own 2 Rolexes now.
Well, you started making some money this year.
Well, not only that, but just really figuring out and it's kind of important part of the show too that I think is like kind of figuring out how to make things happen. And it's not just one day I'll be lucky and figure out how to make that work, because then it never happens. It's let's set a goal, let's be real about it, and let's make things happen. And part of that is trades, part of that is setting yourself up for success in other parts of your life.
Right. Well, we had Jason and I. So I have a friend who I've been working with. He was actually a customer of mine and became a good friend, and he's probably watching right now. If he's not watching live, he'll definitely be watching later. But he's become a mentor of mine and Jason as well. And one thing that he instilled in me and in you is that you got to set real goals. Not, hey, I want to make $1 million, or hey, I want to go buy myself a new watch.
Right.
Like, let's find a watch you want to buy and then work towards that, set a date towards that. So we've been talking about that a little bit. So some of the watches that I want to add to my collection at the end of the year. So let's talk about what I have. So I have two Panerais, two basically identical looking Panerais, but different Panerais. I have the Omega SMP, the ceramic but pre-42. I have my Omega Seamaster 300, the titanium and rose gold. And that watch. What else? I have my Breitling Aerospace. I have a Tudor in my collection right now. I got my Rolex Datejust. What else am I missing? Is there anything else? I'm sure there's a few others that I'm missing. I was looking.
The Anonimo, the Panerai.
I have two Bell & Ross.
Yeah.
So my collection's all over the place. So what I want to do is I want to, my idea of watches is changing rapidly. I mean,
Sure.
So, I haven't been up here for the last 2 weeks, and I've been looking at watches from a different perspective now. I'm no longer a dealer of watches now. I'm a consumer of watches, so I get to look at watches based on what I like, not what other people look like. So a watch number one watch I want to add in the next year, which for sure I will, is a black dial stainless steel Sky Dweller. So the 326934 in a black dial. A friend of mine in Florida had one and let me try it on recently, and I'm just like, okay, I have to have this watch. So that's a watch that by the end of the year I will absolutely own. Hopefully I'll be able to get on a list somewhere, maybe here, and get a new one. If I can't, then I'll have to buy it at market price. But either way, that watch will be in my collection by the end of the year. What about you?
I think that's a great aspirational piece to own because who knows what the market's going to be, but you've decided that that's the watch for you. So regardless of what the market is, and it's an awesome wearable piece. Mm-hmm. For me, I will say though, my mentality for this list is not so much the amount of pieces, it's what they're going to be. Mm-hmm. And there's a piece that I have really, really said one day I'm going to get that watch.
Sure.
And before I owned any Rolexes, it was that watch, and that's the Smurf.
Oh yeah, so you're gonna have a Smurf by the end of the year?
I'm gonna push
$25,000.
I'm gonna push really, really hard.
Hey, man,
I don't
you gotta
listen.
rack up those commissions, man.
It would be. I mean, I get it that it's a very aspirational goal, but it can't, in my opinion, it can't be a goal unless it's far fetched.
Sure.
And if I knew it was gonna be, it'd be easy for me to say, hey, listen, my next watch, I love this. My next watch is gonna be, the new Ultra Deep.
Okay.
And I'll just make a phone call and I'll get one next week. It's not.
Yeah.
So I've, for the longest time, said that I really want that. Second place, if it wasn't going to be that watch, I really, really like the all gold GMT with the green dial.
Okay. But discontinued now?
But I got to say,
Yellow gold GMT.
I love a sub
Smurf
over the GMT case. So the Smurf for me is, it's stealth wealth, whatever you want to call it. It's neutral. It's blue. Mm-hmm. Don't have a blue watch except for the markers on this now. But just because you gave an overview, I will say I've pared down my collection quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I have this now. Panerai's gone, so I have this. I have the non-date 114060. Mm-hmm. I have the Polar, the 216570 in 42 millimeters. I have the Breitling Aerospace, the black titanium. Mm-hmm. And then I got a handful of watches that don't quite make it in the box. So some Seikos. There might be a couple other little dress watches in there.
Me. Yeah, just a bunch of stack of stuff
that stacks on the side. And then the Seamaster Professional.
Oh, yeah.
The Bond, the wave dial.
Did you not sell that to somebody recently?
We'll see. I don't know. It's pending.
Oh, okay.
It's pending sale.
Oh, so one of the guys in the office told me, "Hey, guess what? I just bought Jason's Omega."
Yeah. So 50% deposit has been placed until the rest is secured.
Okay, good.
But yeah.
So yours is Smurf is the next one, right?
I think the Smurf for me is the. I can't say that it's absolutely going to be the next watch because you never know what really pops up. But that's the next watch that I've got my sights set on for sure.
I gotcha. Well, I would say that. So I could definitely see myself picking up a Smurf by the end of the year. So definite will be the black dial stainless steel Sky Dweller. Without a doubt, I'll have that watch. I also want to buy myself, and I know we're going Rolex heavy, but I want to buy myself a 40 millimeter President. So by the end of the year, that'll probably be like a
That's
birthday present for myself.
That's a baller watch, right?
Yeah. Well, that's going to be my
the
stretch
idea,
goal.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely want to own that. I would like to add a Journe to the collection as well. Probably a CS, like a platinum or rose gold CS, probably platinum or rose gold.
No vertical tourbillon. Just shoot for the.
Yeah, well, I want to buy a house too. So
the CS is awesome. I could get behind that.
It's just a good watch to have. Yeah.
Yeah. The Senograph is.
Though I don't have a lot of Senograph is where it's at. I don't have a lot of opportunities.
Far
to
and
wear.
away my favorite Journe.
Wait, that I agree with you. That's the best Journe. That's the best movement he makes. That's the best Journe he makes. I think that anybody who disagrees with me is wrong, but that's why we have our own opinions, right? But I don't have a lot of opportunities to wear dress watches, and I don't, especially my new position, I won't. I'm doing sales as well, but it's mostly business to business sales.
Yeah.
It's a completely different industry, but I don't really have a lot of opportunities to wear dress watches, so we'll see if the Journe actually makes it to the collection. But, I mean, besides that, I want to get a Speedmaster. We've been toying with the idea of going back and forth with Speedmaster. I definitely want to buy one. I'm going to buy one. That'll be easy. That's going to probably be the next one I pick up because that's an easy
one that'll just like pop up and you'll just grab it. It's not going to be. But any specific one or no?
No, I mean, I really what I want is Panda, and I saw one on Instagram the other day, and I asked the guy how much, and he said $7,600. And I go, okay, how am I gonna spend for
so no
for the
Ultraman for you?
No, I mean Ultraman's cool, but I like I've always liked the Panda. If you guys check out my Instagram, which is @Mr. Thanos, I posted a picture of a Panda that I saw a while back. I was feeling nostalgic. I'm like, man, I should have. I at that time I was gonna buy it, and that was probably my first year or second year in buying and selling watches. I was 25 years old, was starting to make some money, but wasn't sure that I could actually spend money on watches. Now, you and I are both over the hump that we're comfortable spending, $5,000-$10,000 on a watch, $15,000 on a watch at this point. So, a lot of times it's not how much money you make, it's how much you're comfortable spending.
I think it's both. I think it's coming to terms with the fact that you realize, like, okay, the rest of my life is more or less put together, and this is truly discretionary money, and it's not,
right.
You're not scratching pennies together. I would say the way I look at it, the Smurf is my super lofty goal, right? Obtainable. Don't know if it'll be the end of the year, but possibility super lofty. My midterm goal is a overseas Gen 2 chrono.
Okay.
And I think
what color dial?
Black dial, I think.
Black dial, I can see
just
that.
Because like the blues are really nice, but I'm not going to pay the premium.
Sure.
The silver dial for me doesn't really do anything, so I think black's the safe play. If you add that to if you factor the Smurf as being a reality, and then you add the black dial, at least you're still getting some versatility there.
Yeah.
But I've always loved that watch. The 3 is growing on me. We'll say the 3 is like.
I agree with you.
You want the 3.
I hated it at first.
Yeah. So here's the thing: the 3 is technically better in every single way possible. The bracelet's better, all the straps, the disconnect, the movement, everything is better about it, except for the way it looks.
Sure.
So, I don't know, and the price tag, because right now they're crazy expensive.
So I felt that the 3, the non-chrono, just the time and date looks nice. The chrono's okay. Didn't look as great as nice as the second gen. The one that I thought really missed the mark at first, but I'm starting to grow on me, unfortunately, is the dual time. No, the world time, not the world timer, the dual time. The world timer I like. The dial's pretty. Yeah. Though I know there's issues with their movements, but the dual time with these large triangular tips on these hands, I thought it looked so weird. But if anybody's been following on Instagram, they made a prototype, like a deep stream prototype of the dual time. So it's all titanium. The thing looks unbelievable. So I'm starting to come around on that VC. And again, man, like my perspective on watches in just the last 2 weeks has changed so much that, like, because I haven't on a daily basis in the past, I would only be looking at watches that other people wanted to buy. So I had to formulate opinions to give those to other people, and there was always a little pressure to buy and sell. Now, which is great for me, and like one thing I'm already enjoying is that like all my clients for the last 6 years are now my friends, and now we're just watch buddies. So now, if you're dealing with those clients, they're calling me, "Hey man, what do you think? Yeah. What do you think I should pay for this?" So now I get to work against Jason. I get to tell my guys what they should be paying.
It was funny because you like walked by somebody's desk when you came to the office earlier today, and they were like, "Yo, what can I pay for this?" And you're like, "I don't work here anymore."
Yeah, I don't work here.
It was funny,
yeah.
But I mean, so. From the aspect, like the good thing though, if you really is you have the education in terms of looking behind the curtain, right?
I
so
know
you're
watches
informed
are worth
on both
stuff.
aspects of it. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
something you
fun,
take
man.
with
It's
you.
going to be fun, and I plan on again staying in the community as a collector, because that's the coolest thing about this, in my opinion, is that I could be selling toilet paper, right? We could be selling anything, some sort of junk, and we wouldn't get to be part of a community of enthusiasts. So that was my biggest takeaway for the last 6 years buying and selling watches, and it's and I got into the watch community as a salesperson, so I never got to see this side of it. So now the fact that I get to have these conversations, my buddy Ruben, who called me for 2 hours just deliberating over which watch he should buy or what kind of deal he should do, and I'm
After an hour-long conversation with me.
Exactly.
So he got off the phone with you, and so he's vested. He's emotionally vested in the
Right.
which is, there is a seriousness to this as well. So sometimes it becomes less of a hobby and more of like a very serious choice for a lot of people. And
it's a lot of money.
So the thing too is we're fully aware. I'm fully aware that when you don't have the exposure to the things like we do, because we handle all the watches, we see them all the time. Like it's easy. It gets easier and easier for me to be very conscious of what I like and what I don't like very quickly, because I've exposed so much to all this stuff. But sometimes guys don't ever get to see the watch before they own it.
Oh yeah,
and that's a big, risky,
scary
transactional thing. So,
so True Lie on the that's funny. It's
live chat.
Yeah, it said, he goes, from the way these guys talk about watches, that they really love them and not just do this as part of their job to sell them. And honestly, I remember my first week on the job, I talked to a buddy of mine, my best friend, and I said, man, I can't believe some guy just spent $8,000 on a watch. What a fool. This is crazy. I'll never understand that. And at this point, man, I think I counted up, I probably have about $40,000 in wholesale value in watches. And I'm just like
what a moron.
What a moron I am. But it's, it's fun. You realize that, you have it's so the collecting side of it, which growing up I was never like a big collector. Like I know that was kind of your thing, right? So I've gained like a real understanding for being a collector by through this industry and meeting all these guys who are now you guys are my friends now. So and I've really grown to have some really great relationships with people who I look up to and who can mentor me. And obviously, a guy like you, Jason, we've only met 3 years ago. You came in to interview. You were working for Tourneau, and you came in to interview, and I interviewed you, and I was a believer from day one. Maybe not everybody, but I think you showed everybody.
He likes to say that a lot.
Well, hey, listen, dude, it's a compliment, man.
Yeah.
I knew that you were going to be, a top dog in our office and in this industry from day one, and I really appreciate, everything that you've done for me, bud. It's been really great. All right, so we're not talking watches anymore.
Let's not. Yeah.
People, we're gonna get some real hate in the comments here.
We're gonna go.
All right, so you're gonna pick up a Smurf. I'm 100% stainless steel black dial sky dweller. For me, I want to pick up a 40 millimeter black dial President. So what you saw on the screen for our top 5, I want that watch. We'll see. I have to sell a lot in order to get that, but there's an opportunity for me to get that. I want to get a Journe. I want to get a Speedmaster. What else? I don't know. What are you thinking, Jay?
Honestly, I really don't have too many other. I will say I put a Moser Pioneer on the wrist the other day.
Sure.
The blue dial stainless steel piece, and while I do think it's a little bit large, I really, really like the watch. There's something I like the brand. I like what they stand for. They're kind of weird, quirky type of dudes that make a very serious instrument that's kind of fun. And where they stand in the industry, I could definitely get behind that from a brand standard. I don't know if the Pioneer is the watch for me, but I do like it quite a bit. I don't know, man. Honestly, between those two watches, between a Smurf and my other pick there, I think I might be tapped out for the year.
Yeah.
I think I want to go with like 2 big watches and call it,
Call it. I got you. All right. So just to sum it up, because I know that this title of this show is the best watches to buy in 2019, and some people are getting upset about the fact that we're not being very direct with our answers here. But honestly, these are watches. A black dial sky dweller. If you're going to get a stainless sky dweller, the black dial is the one to go for, because the blue, number one, in my opinion, is a little gimmicky, and it's going to be far more expensive, $4,000 or $5,000 more expensive. So the value play is the black dial sky dweller. I think the Smurf right now is a great value, and it's only going to get more. It's going to get more play. And if Rolex keeps going, these are the watches that are kind of being somewhat overlooked right now. So for $25,000 or so, you can get a Smurf, and I mean that watch is, in my opinion, worth every penny of the $25,000 market price for that watch. So those are 2 watches that, if you want to buy, if you're looking to add things to your collection in 2019, those are the watches to look for.
when you talk about a watch the watch to buy is the watch that when you put it on, you're like, holy crap, I can't believe I own this, right? And it's like when you look down at the time, you're like, woof.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just,
and when you're,
pops hard.
it's just like when you're walking away from your car and you got to look back at it.
Yep.
It's the same feeling. So when you look down and you tell the time and you got to take a second look because you got to admire it.
Oh, I love this watch.
That's the one that does it, man. That's what the feeling that you're chasing. And you know, we've talked about like how that chase can be very addictive and like very scary. And but when you do it the right way and you obtain that piece and you put it on your wrist and it's a reality, it's something special. In terms of like, in case you guys didn't, you know, the comments and addressing the best watches to buy, there's this clickbaity thing that we've kind of been doing for a long time.
We're trying to get more people to
know, there's a general conversation happening about those watches, but you know, it's we could come here and we could give a list of 25 watches and run down them, and it'd be this like very analog, basic show, or we could have a real discussion as to where our lives are.
We've never done that, man. This is about. I'd say one thing about watch collecting. It's about people.
Yeah.
So you know, it's about passion. It's about what you like. And if you're buying watches and you're not buying what you like, you're making the biggest mistake, man. That's my opinion.
Our graphics guys queued this up, and if we don't use it, he's gonna kill me. But in terms of the way that we are gonna make this happen, right? Is that a good enough segue?
Yeah, go for it.
What are we gonna do? We're just gonna have to do it.
Do it. By the way, that's me now. From now on, I'm gonna start making videos. Shallow buff. Just do it. Yeah, there you go. So and this is so that attitude is what we're going to take into the end of 2019 and into 2020 in terms of watch buying, but also just like personally, man. And I think that the great thing about watch collecting is that at its basic core, it's a celebration of success because nobody needs any of these things.
Right.
And you can buy a swatch for $60 that'll tell time just as good, if not better. So
put together by robots.
Put together by robots, for robots.
Yeah.
But this is the way to go about it. If you feel like you can afford it, or even if you don't, obviously don't put yourself don't spend your lunch money on a watch. But I'd say you got to reach, and that's the only way things are going to get better for you.
Yeah. So I mean, recapping on the end of 2019, I'm just I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to grind. I got some other things lined up that aren't watches, that are important as well. So do you.
Yep.
And the watches will be byproducts of success.
Yep.
Right. So we love watches. They'll come with no matter in our entirety of our lives. Once you get to a certain point in other places, the watches will come.
Sure.
So that's kind of the outlook I have here, and kind of a bittersweet show, I would say, marking the, I don't even know, what is this, like 75 or something?
No.
It has to be like
total?
all of all time. We stopped doing the
since
numbers,
I started with Tim, I've done over 100 shows since I started with Tim. And
easily.
if you guys scroll back to the very beginning, you can see one of the worst, most awkward moments of my life doing my first show with Tim. I didn't know what to do with my hands for the first 20 episodes. I would sit my hands up front because I had no clue what to do with my hands.
Yeah, the first time Tim asked me to be on the show, it was like within hours. Like heads up, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What am I gonna? And I'm just waiting for the toughest question of my life, for Tim to ask me like about a movement, and I'm just like, this is I don't know what's going on right now. Right. But you know what? They get easier and they get more fun and more casual, and I hope that comes through. We got some setting changes happening today that are different. Shout out to our subscribers. We hit 83,000 subscribers.
I said we wanted to cap out at 75, so go ahead and unsubscribe today.
Also, if you guys haven't checked out, the beta for the website's gone live, so the new website's up.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's got a lot of cool little details going on right now. That's going to be improving as well. We're going to be rolling out some new additions, but the layout's super cool, very like casual, but also very nice and sleek as well. So hopefully you enjoy that. Go click on some stuff. If you see a watch that you want to buy, obviously my number's at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
No longer have to concern yourself with calling Josh
don't
about
call
watches.
me about, unless you just want to talk watches, don't call me to buy or sell a watch. That's not my gig anymore. I'm doing something else. I'll be calling you.
Yeah.
Are you going to be my salesperson here?
Sure. Why not?
Are you sure? I think Brian Godberg is
everything that costs.
Okay, deal.
Yeah.
Shake on that. There we go.
All
right, guys. So again, check us out check out Watchbox. Subscribe to this channel. They're trying to get to 100,000. I'm going to do what I can to help out.
Evo Evo_watches.
There you go.
On
Jason's
Instagram.
finally on Instagram. Evo_watches. I'm at Mr. Thanos. Now you can check me out. that's my collector's page there. I have thousands of watch pictures for the last 6 years that will be popping up on the website. And,
He's got a whole
or
cloud.
on the, I have thousands upon thousands. And I got my collection, so you'll see that evolve. Otherwise, check us out. Watchbox is on Facebook.
Yeah.
They're on Instagram. Godberg Jewelers, everything across the board. Go ahead, subscribe, check us out, reach out, say hello, say goodbye, whatever it is. All right, guys.
Take it easy.